friends. I have successfully, for a long time, been lying to my Airbnb guests, and maybe I'm just a little, I don't know, um, jaded or kind of like whatever it takes with my businesses. And I had a sales business for like a decade or more, and we used to have this phrase that buyers are liars, so it's okay to lie back. I don't think that that's the best maneuver, but this video I want to tell you about lies that I've told, functionally why I tell these lies, kind of how they go. But I think karma is catching up to me. Lying to my guests, I think, is starting to pile on the karma because here at Burning Man, what's up, truck? Here at Burning Man, not only am I like getting sunburned my first day, but that white thing back there was a Japanese pergola that I built by hand. It took me all day today, and as soon as it was built, a huge windstorm came and knocked it down. So I had to rebuild it, and I'm halfway done. But I promised you guys a video every day for 30 days, and today I think is 27 or 28, maybe. So the first lie that I've been telling guests for a long time has happened because of parties, right? When I first started in Houston, I had like high-rise apartments, and people would just throw crazy ragers in small square footage studios because the view was cool. I was at the Sky House units, right? Yeah, we all lie to our guests a little bit, right? Well, this one was kind of like a fun white lie. You know, when you create your listing, you can have like a welcome message for guests whenever they book. What I did is I wrote in there, "Hi, welcome to Houston. I'm your host, and I live just a couple doors down. So if you need anything, I'll be super close by." I didn't live in the building, right? But I wanted people who were booking to be afraid of the fact that I, as a host, might actually live in the building, right? And that was like a party prevention kind of thing. And you know what? Man, I'll let you guys decide. You know what? You guys can tell me how bad, scale of 1 to 10, any of these lies are, right? That I tell guests, and maybe some of you guys tell guests. If you got a whopper, one that's functional that maybe I wouldn't be able to tell, but you could tell in the comments, feel free to rip down in the comments. Okay. One of the lies that I told a guest, and I started using this more, was I had a guest who would incessantly call me, right? And I remember one time, like it was like a multi-week stay, and they would just incessantly call me. So I would text them, go, "In the middle of a maintenance emergency, please text," right? When I just didn't feel like picking up their phone calls anymore. And I think I still to this day use kind of like this like false disqualifier as to why I can't take people's phone calls, depending on who the guest is within an automation, right? I do want to sidestep and tell you about the automation that I do to get reviews. This is kind of like a lie. I'll recommend places to stay, or like places to eat with a guest when they stay, right? So, for example, they stay in an apartment in Dallas that's nearby, you know, like a new place. I'll recommend like Black Tap Burgers, or if they're nearby a coffee shop that I love with cool croissants, I'll recommend that coffee shop for the pretzel croissant. And then in an automated message, see, that one was automated, and I automate messages based on their geographic area with local like recommendations via Messenger. And then after they check out, I say, "Hey, did you ever get a chance to check out Village Baking Co. and have that pretzel croissant? What did you think?" Right? That sounds like a real message. It doesn't sound like a, "Hey, please leave us a review," does it? But I got it to work. So now people respond, "Oh, I did," or "I did not." Um, and then from there we can have a conversation. And that's actually the way that I've been getting a ton of 5-star reviews, absolute ton of 5-star reviews. Sometimes if we're late on cleaning, we'll throw the last guest under the bus, even though they weren't that bad. Be like, "I'm so sorry, last guest checked out super late." You know, I think my team does that more than I do, but I know that our staff actually does that. That's another. Oh, when somebody asks for a discount, this is a fun one. When somebody asks for a discount, we go, "Well, we actually just lowered our rates for the next few weeks just to fill up the rest of our calendar. So these dates are going to go really fast. Our place is normally X, Y, Z a night, but you guys know that my pricing strategy, we have our rates like really high by standard. Um, and so I'll go, "Yeah, our rates are normally blank, blank, blank. So you're going to love the stay at this price." And then, of course, we try to convince them to book under the belief that they've got some special discount, which, you know, we probably did drop our rates at some point, but we didn't just drop another one. That's the second to the biggest one. There it is. So I'm going to get to the biggest one because I've got the second to the biggest one. When a guest, like, I don't know, has like a bad stay or has a bad day, right? And they're being a brat. We try to compliment the way that they handled something and tell them that we're super impressed with the way they handled something to try to evoke a better behavior out of them, even though we're absolutely not impressed with how much of a brat they were. But this is kind of like an element of influence that'll get people to start behaving in a different way. And so I do recommend reading some material. Like Jeffrey Gitomer is a really basic sales guy, really good sales guy, and he makes everything really easy to understand. If you start with Jeffrey Gitomer's sales stuff, he's got a green book of persuasion. I think he color codes all of his books, and the green book of persuasion could give you some really cool ways to kind of flip scripts. Because with that, not only do we do stuff like that, but like if somebody, like a landlord, tells us they don't want us to do Airbnb because they got a problem with something, we'll do something called a quick reversal. We'll go, well, that's actually exactly why you want to work with someone like us. And they'll go, wait, the thing that I hate is the reason why you want me to work with you. And then we go and we tell them about something. Like they're mad that appliances will get used more. We'll say, well, that's exactly why you want to work with a short-term rental operator, because short-term rental guests really don't use the appliances that much. They really don't use the stove, X, Y, Z. And so that one's a really great book to read, because not only can we use it to kind of like, persuade guests or manipulate situations for our benefit, but that's another one. And we also do like a takeaway close. If a guest is like super upset about something, it could be tiny, right? They could be upset about the smallest thing, and then we'll freak out too, go, oh my God, you're so right. It's such a disaster. We'll cancel your stay right now. Even though we have no intention of canceling their stay. We'll cancel your stay right now. And the person goes, no, 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 no. I still need the reservation. And they try to slow us down. It's really, really fun. Sorry, I think somebody asked a fun question. You have a 30-foot trailer, 2 rooms and bathroom on LA County, no Airbnb permitted. What can you do? Okay, since we're being unethical, this is a video about unethical tips. I don't do this, but I know people who do, and I've seen it all over LA. There are people who list a space in an area that is allowed in LA as close as humanly possible to their address. And then when somebody books, they go, oh, hey, address typo, or that's the address for our office. The location is actually here. I stayed at an Airbnb like that. That was like 2 miles away. Now, here's how you can get caught with this. If you ever list a false address on Airbnb to list a place, you need to make sure that the reason why somebody's booking is not the location. Like it almost seems obvious, but here's an example. Let's say you have a rooftop deck that overlooks the LA skyline. People want the rooftop deck. They want that view. They could care less what the exact dress is. They just want the view. So if you are going to skip around and lie about your address to be able to Airbnb in LA, the people who've succeeded at it are providing a product that transcends the address. Okay, so that's something that you could technically do. There might be a way for you to take the trailer and make it an ADU on someone else's space. You can negotiate with someone who would have like an ADU allotment and park it somewhere where then that homeowner would be able to Airbnb out your trailer and you'd co-host with them or something. That could be a cool spread too. That could be a way to get it done. The guy who's in my bus right now, we're building our LA camp. He just had a guest die in his property, had a fentanyl overdose, and he Airbnbs in Las Vegas. And he's done it for 10 years, like 8 years, one property, and he's had somebody die. And I said to him, like, man, I've been Airbnb for 10 years, hundreds of properties, and I've only had one person die too. I guess I'm getting really lucky, right? To only have one person die. And mine was like they were in Fort Worth for like medical stuff. But man, like, then I thought about it. Like, it kind of got me sad yesterday that this guy died and he wasn't home. Like, he had his dog, but man, he was like going through medical treatment. It was tough. He was staying in some Airbnb. And back then when he died, my Airbnbs in Fort Worth weren't special looking, right? They weren't anything special. And so he died somewhere boring, not home. And that's really sad. The only person who's ever died in one of my Airbnbs. Oh, I remembered it. You guys are going to love it. Okay, cool. I got it. I remembered it. When someone refuses to accept one of your offerings, and you know that you're just going to keep saying no, these types of people that are stubborn, you can manipulate them by offering 2 things at the same time. Well, could I give you this or could I give you this? And the donkey will pick one because you kind of like pattern break them. Okay, so here's the big one that has saved us a ton of money. Okay, so thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video as the sun is setting in beautiful Burning Man. This place is so cool. Okay, so let me ask the owner is the lie, okay? How many of you are the owner, operator, final decision maker, right? Somebody's like, I want a free night stay. I want to check in early. I want to check out late. I want a refund for this. I want blank, right? And they dog you. How many people ask you for a discount, right? You're a small business. They would never ask a hotel for a discount a day in their life, would they? No, because they know Hilton's not just going to give away discounts like it's candy. So Anytime that somebody tries to hit you up for a small business hook a brother up discount, or they try to dog you because they think that something like deserves them a refund, you say, let me go ask the owner. I'm gonna ask the owner. Let me ask the owner. You come back 7 minutes later, go, the owner says no. That's it. Now they're like, well, I can't get to the owner to yell at the owner. And now the person I'm talking to on Airbnb seems just like some peon middle person. Oh, that works so good. That one works so good. And that was the one I I do think that that one is, it's dirty, but out of all the things that I've said that I think are justified, if somebody was not going to beat up Hilton because they know that they can't get to the decision maker in accounting, then we need to make up the same kind of situation where like they can't beat us up. Now, if you're still here, I recommend, if you like this persuasion thing, right? If you like the idea of persuasion, I've got a couple videos for you. And one of them is on messages that you send guests, like how I build my messages. But I think the one I want you to see is actually quite recent. It's about all of my one-star reviews and what I learned from my one-star reviews. So I'm going to put it at the end of this video so you guys can see it. Those of you who are on the live stream, I'm sorry that I can't tap it in at the end. But maybe go find my 1,000 one-star reviews and the switch up that I've done for automating messages. Super sick, good stuff. And if you are here tomorrow, then there'll be a video right here. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys, on day 27 or 28 of my 30-day long-form challenge. And sorry, my brain fried 4 times on a live. That's never happened before. You guys are the best. And yeah, so I'm going to get back to rebuilding that pergola to its glorious self. Say hi to Karma's Ronin. That is a Ronin. When a samurai is like banished from their village, it's called a Ronin. They're like cursed to be alone. So Karma's Ronin. Yes, I'm emo. Very melodramatic. So I love you guys. I will see you on the other side.